soul, are you weary and troubled? No light in the darkness you see. There's light for a look at the Savior, and life more abundant and free. Turn your eyes upon Jesus, look full in his wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace.
Gone through all. So the top part of the map is Bible history. And the bottom part of the map is secular history. So, and then although it doesn't go back millions of years, but starting at the Tower of Babel and then on. So, all right. So we're in the third section of the kings of Israel, and so we've looked at Joram, the son of Jehoshaphat, and Ahaziah, Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, Joash, the son of Ahaziah, Azariah or Uzziah, and Jotham, the son of Uzziah, and that's when, so we're looking at Jotham, the son of Uzziah, and learning about the Assyrian Empire. Before we get started, we'll just go through the books of the Bible, so trying to commit these to memory, and let's say them together. The Old Testament this morning: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi. Okay, so we're doing Israel's kings. This is lesson 38, so we're almost done. And so we're up to so this is the division of the kingdom of Israel. So we're looking at this time there were two kingdoms. They had the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel, which is up here. So everything north of here, and they ended up the kingdom. So we're looking at the splitting. They're about to be taken into captivity. They haven't yet, but the Assyrian Empire is prominent during this time, and Athaliah and others were linked to it, and King Ahab as well had links to the Assyrian Empire. And so far we've looked at the Assyrian kings that were mentioned in the Bible. There are 6 Assyrian kings that are mentioned by name in the Bible, Assyrian, and as well as archaeological evidence, Assyrian palaces, the Assyria's Grand Library. So there are 3,000. The archaeologists found a 30,000 volume library that belonged to Ashur-banipal, and then the Assyrians. We looked at the Assyrians' brutality, that they were exceedingly cruel, and Nineveh was part of the Assyrian Empire, and it's called in Nahum 3:1 the bloody city. So, and then the Assyrian kings. Is this where we left off? Yeah, I think this is so. I think this is where we left off last week. So, so we're going to continue on with the Assyrian kings and hunting. The Assyrian kings, they prided themselves on their great hunting expertise. Many of the panels lining the palace walls depict their exploit. So, in this, they were following in the footsteps of Nimrod, the founder of the Babylonian Assyrian empires, who was a mighty hunter, the Bible says in Genesis 10, verse 9. So Ashurbanipal, the king of Assyria, he boasted among men, kings, and among beasts, lions were powerless before my bow. I know the art of waging battle and combat, a valiant hero, beloved of Ashur and Ishtar. So, yeah. So when we looked when we were looking at the kings, the Assyrian kings, we learned that they were very prideful and very wicked people. So the Bible says that lions were once plentiful in Israel and in the Mesopotamian region. So perhaps they were hunted and killed. So from the artist depictions, we can see that they hunted lions from horseback. So they also hunted lions. They also hunted from chariots, and they hunted with dogs as well. So and they're bringing dogs along with them. So here's another one. So even with their bare hands, if the depictions are believed. So here's a picture of them preparing the king's bow for battle, for hunting. Here's another one. So the lions were raised or captured for royal hunts as well. They were herded by soldiers. And here's one that's been shot by several arrows. And another one. So here's 6 soldiers carrying a dead lion. And they would play music for the victorious hunter. So there's people with instruments, harpists, and others with the lion dead on the floor there. So now Assyria's military. The facts about Assyria's. We're going to look at the facts about Assyria's military and how they provide a fascinating background to the accounts of the Old Testament. So Assyria's military conquered the entire Mesopotamian region. Tiglath-Pileser with his ears. Tiglath-Pileser with his foot on the neck of a defeated king. So they were very ruthless people, ruthless armies. The Assyrian soldiers carrying away idols after their military victory. And this reminds us of Sennacherib's boasting of Hezekiah in 2 Kings 18:34. It says, Where are the gods of Hamath and of Arpad? Where are the gods of Shephavaim, Hena, and Iva? So they also had a cavalry. Um, and cavalry was important, was an important part of the Assyrian armies, and is frequently mentioned in the Bible. So horses appear to be a noble breed, and the Arabian horse is still celebrated today. It has a small head, large nostrils, short body, and slender legs. So and there's another depiction. So Habakkuk said that the Chaldean horses are swifter than the leopards and more fierce than the evening wolves in Habakkuk 1:8. Here's another one. Two more by palm trees. So the chariot, so we're going to look at chariots. The chariot is mentioned 177 times in the Bible, and the Assyrians used it to great advantage. So I need to do more research. It was interesting though, because there was a man, we went to Carraig years ago, and there was a man with an Irish chariot. He was showing us, but it was different because it pivoted. It had this pivoting mechanism, and it was able to do like a 360-degree turn. I think like it was able to do a turn right in the, like do a complete tight circle, where a lot of these chariots were not able to, so they couldn't. You had to have a large area to be able to do a complete turn. So, and how he was saying how the Irish ones were more maneuverable and better designed. Yeah, so I'm not sure. But obviously they use them for battles and things. So, but maybe the Irish ones were just better for maneuvering and escaping and attacking. I think I remember the man saying, but I don't know. I'm not sure how much he knew about it. It seemed like he was saying that there wasn't, that they actually didn't use these very much. But I'm not sure he was a historian either. Yeah. Well, no. I mean, I thought he was saying that they didn't really use these very long. I don't know. I don't remember. Well, that's what I'm remembering, but I'm not sure if he did say that. I'm not sure that would be accurate, because a lot of nations used that type of chariot. That perhaps, yeah. It was a better, yeah. Like they were able to improve it. Okay. So I don't remember. I'd have to talk to the man again. But obviously, I'm seeing these chariots, and I'm thinking back. It was interesting, yeah, and then get to sit on it and things. So, anyways, so these are the chariots that they used with horses. Here's the Assyrian king's royal chariot. So this chariot held 4 soldiers, 1 driving and 2 shooting arrows, and 1 handling a shield. So, and we're going to look at their siege tactics. The Assyrians were experts in besieging and conquering fortified cities, using battering rams and other instruments. So some siege engines battered the walls by means of a lever, worked from the inside, or a lever worked from inside the machine. So archers protected the shield bearers and fought from the top of the machine. So in the siege of Lachish in Israel, this new kind of engine was used to attack the top of the walls. So, and then and the archers shot at the defenders from behind shields. So, and you can see the archers, or the man holding the shield, and then the archers on the walls shooting down. So some also attacked from ladders, while others dug tunnels. So now we're going to look at the personal military equipment. The Assyrians used a variety of hand weapons. They used bows and arrows. Here's some different pictures of that. They used spears. They used daggers and swords. Here's a dagger, or there's a dagger on his side. And here we can see that they had helmets and upper armor, upper body armor. There's a closer look. So here's some arrows from the siege of Lachish at the British Museum. So, and you can actually, they have a virtual. You can go to the British Museum online with there's a virtual thing. Or did you have to pay for that, Kelly? I can't remember. Was that a fee? Okay, so Keith was able to. So one of our sons was able to see things in the British Museum for one of his classes. We didn't have to travel there, so. Or was that part of his? Yeah, I don't know if there might be a fee. I don't know. He may have been able to do that because he was a student. Right. Yeah, it was during that time. Yeah. So, anyways, but they have these on display over there. So, an iron lance head from the siege on display at the British Museum. And they also use slingshots. So skilled slingers were often used in combination with the archers. During sieges, their role was to target the enemy on the city ramparts. So slingers could hurl a projectile over 100 miles an hour with an effective range in excess of 100 yards. So a well-trained slinger could approach the speed of a .45 caliber pistol, which travels 150 meters per second. So in Judges 20, verse 16, it says, everyone could sling stones at a hairbreadth and not miss. So the stones are about half the size of a man's fist. That's pretty big. So here's some stones from the besiege, from the siege of Lachish on display at the British Museum. And that would hurt. That would be, yeah, that'd be worse than a bullet, probably. I don't know. I mean, if it's traveling the speed of a bullet, I mean, so here's a Jewish shepherd boy with a sling. So here's a description of sling warfare in 2100 BC. From the city it rained missiles as from the clouds, sling stones like the rain falling in a year, whizzing loudly down from the walls. Wow. So ancient projectiles, just here's ancient projectiles discovered at Hamakar in southeast Syria were bullet-shaped and were fashioned from clay. One had pierced into the mud brick wall. It doesn't, yeah, probably. So the pointed shape of the projectiles tells us that they could be armor piercing, and that the slingers must have had a technique for sending them off in a spin like a rifle bullet. So, and here's I think this is a video. Oh, that's not a video. Oh, I thought it was. Oh, it is a video. Yeah, I didn't give it time. All right, so whistling sling projectiles were discovered in southwestern Scotland. They were used by Romans against a hilltop fort. So I'm not sure. It obviously made a whistling sound, which would be frightening, you know, even if it didn't hit you, to know that it's whizzing past you. Yeah. So the cast lead bullets were drilled with 0.2 of an inch hole that caused them to make a sharp buzzing and whistling noise. Archaeologist John Reed calls them a terror weapon. Yeah. So the Assyrians had two types of shields. One was large enough to hide behind for siege, in long distance combat. It protected from arrows and lances thrown from a distance. The other was a small one for close in combat. And then how that relates to us, a believer's spiritual shield is perfectly designed. It gives protection from the fiery dart of the enemy that the enemy can throw, every fiery dart that the enemy can throw at him. Ephesians 6:16 tells us, above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. So here's Shalmaneser's black obelisk. The monument depicts 5 foreign kings bringing tribute to the Assyrian monarch. The second series of panels from the top show King Jehu of northern Israel bowing before Shalmaneser. So, in this obelisk, it resides in the British Museum. The symbols for the Assyrian sun god and for Ishtar appear on top of the panels. You have the sun god and Ishtar. the king of Assyria. Here the king of Assyria stands before Jehu, and in attendance is holding an umbrella to shade him. So an attendant armed with a sword is beckoning for Jehu's servants to bring the tributes forward. So Jehu and his servants have beards and are wearing long robes with decorated hems, peaked caps, and pointed shoes. The inscription says, the tribute of Jehu, son of Omri, I received from him silver, gold, a golden bowl, a golden vase with pointed bottom, golden tumblers, golden buckets, tin, a staff for a king, and spears. So here's another picture. So other panels on the obelisk depict two humped camels and elephants brought by other kings